This is a very great invention. By injecting a special drug into the egg yolk of a chicken, a fresher egg yolk will be cloned. The cloning agent can now be used on human beings, but the rules of use must be strictly adhered to. If anything goes wrong, the consequences will be horrific and irreversible. Elizabeth was once a starlet in the eyes of the world, but, as the saying goes, age is a merciless knife that has been used to kill Elizabeth's beautiful face and her curvy, sexy body. Today was Elizabeth's 50th. Thing was all in one. Gazing into the mirror, she saw her sagging body reflected back at her. After a brief moment of hesitation, Elizabeth's desire overpowered her rationality and she injected herself with the green potion. Shortly thereafter, she experienced a sudden spinning sensation, fainted, and collapsed to the ground. While her body continued to undergo changes, Elizabeth's eyeballs split in two, yet a new one formed, and her back opened up, from which emerged a new woman. This new woman was young and beautiful, with skin as delicate as a breeze could disturb, and a figure that was tight, firm, and supple, tender. The new woman was not just young and beautiful. Her skin was incredibly smooth, and her body was firm and tight, with her tender parts even more so. She had already become an old color, with very little darkness except for some pink, because the two bodies shared the same consciousness. After a few moments of solipsism, the new body stitched up the old body's wounds and administered a special check until the 7 bottles were filled with the new body's stabilizer. Until all 7 vials were used up, the measurement would necessitate a change of status. During these 7 days, Elizabeth, in her youthful body, succeeded in winning the approval of the TV station's director, even though she had lied about her outrageous condition, claiming she needed had not only the young body, but also a sooner or later, what was meant to be, was meant to be. After 7 days, Susan woke up Elizabeth and fell into a deep slumber. Elizabeth had already been satisfied with her young form. Of her intense dancing, Susan suddenly noticed changes in her buttocks. She found an excuse to stop the picture, and the announcers saw the scene in a frame-by-frame replay. Discovered a piece of excess flesh on conventional actions were clear. Elizabeth was nearly half dead. Susan explained Elizabeth's condition to her submissive once more, and the response was unchanged. The outcomes were irreversible. However, Elizabeth could choose and then, roughly, when she was on the elevator, her fingernails started to fall off. She violently dragged Susan out and injected the depressant into her. However, halfway through the injection, caring about the fact that she was already skull was shattered, her bones were broken, and her body was shattered, and even her insides were crushed. And she watched as the blood flowed out of her. Susan did not care about that much because there was no other way to do it. As before, Susan's organs began to split, but the difference was that they split more wildly than before. When the new body was born, she took one look at the mirror and shrank back in horror. It did a monstrous thing. Not only had her body changed, but her brain had also become delirious. She continued to wear the beautiful dress and the exquisite sling. She donned the dress, wore the pendants, covered her face.